Welcome back to the Quintessential Real Estate Podcast. My name is Quinn. I'm your host. Today is a solo episode, and I thought it'd be, we're probably going to put this podcast out in March or February, but I want to talk about the past 5 deals that I've done this year and what has gotten these homes under contract, whether it is from a listing agent perspective or a buyer's agent perspective, and what my clients have done to be successful. So let's talk about the first client that we put under contract. This home was in Delco. We submitted an offer, and all of these, I will say, if I was on the buy side or list side, they all sold within the first weekend. And if we were on the buy side, we got out there the first day. That's very important, and a trend you're going to see. So the first offer that was submitted, we kind of structured it with, we knew we'd have multiple offer situations. So we wanted to add in some incentives. So we offered a slightly over the asking price. We didn't want to go too high because we weren't really sure if the other offers were going to be super, super competitive. So what we did was we put in a price escalation clause. So that means that basically if you offer more than we offered, we have a price that we are willing to continue going up. Another thing that we offered was transfer tax. Each side usually pays between 1% and 2% of the value of the home in transfer taxes. So a way to be competitive, and it basically, it could be, in this case, it was about $5,000 or $6,000 that we said, hey, we're willing to pay this. So on top of our offer price, we are going to be giving you more money that does not count toward an appraised value. So if the appraisal matters, I can kind of say as an agent, hey, I understand that, we have this offer price. We're going to be getting an appraisal, but we can guarantee that part of this offer comes with no strings attached money. So that was really good. We did get a home inspection and a termite. So that is something new that we're seeing. I'm starting to get more home inspections. So during this home inspection, we found out that there was part of a garage roof that was basically the rafters were pulling out of the walls. And that's a problem. And there were some other things in the property. And what I did was during the negotiation period, I was essentially talking with the agent and my buyers. I was saying, we just want to fix this one thing. There are other issues with the home, but we're not here to try to claw back price just because we, are under contract. We want to focus on the specific things that we need as a buyer in order to do this. And we luckily were able to get a contractor out there during the inspection period. He gave us a quote. We gave the quote and the contact for the contractor, and they were out just the other day to do the work. So now my people are going to close on this house with the one concern they had, and they don't have to pay it. I mean, that was like $4,000. That was a huge win. Next, I had a listing in Philadelphia that we listed on a Thursday. We had a bunch of offers in, and we had 2 that we were reviewing. Now, we ended up taking one that was right at the asking price. So again, not over. There's some different people that came through, a lot of strong buyers. The one aspect of this property was we were not offering a compensation right off the bat for a buyer's agent. So it was my job to basically negotiate and break the news to the buyer's agent that, hey, we're not going to be offering a compensation. Your buyer's going to need to take care of that. So if you're listening and you're a buyer, it does happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And, what we were able to come to terms with is the seller would pay a small portion of their fee, and the buyer is going to be paying the other portion of the fee that they had agreed to. I don't know what that amount is, but basically he was able to subsidize a little bit of it, and the buyer is going to pick up the rest. These are types of conversations we're starting to have now. So whenever you're hiring an agent, just know that either the seller could pay for all of your agent's compensation, they could pay for part of it, or they could pay for none of it. So it's always something to think about when you're hiring. You need to make sure, hey, I could be on the hook for this bill. And the next property, this one happened when I was actually on vacation. And we had been working, I've been working with these clients for quite some time. And they're like, hey, Quinn, we're going to be going. We're really interested in this house. We're going to go to an open house. And I'm like, that's great. Give me a call right afterwards. I'm calling the agent. We're talking with them. And, it was a beautiful property. They decided that they're like, Quinn, we want to put an offer in. I called the agent. They're like, okay, we're going to wait a couple days because we're getting another offer in. So we want to set an offer deadline. And what we did at that point was I told them, let's hold off on putting an offer in because I haven't seen this property. You went to the open house, but as an agent, I really want to get in there. I want to see the home and make sure there's no flags because I've been working with these clients for a while. I never like to put an offer in not having seen the home. And so I don't mind when clients go to open houses, but I like to get eyes on it. So either I'll attend the open house, or I'll go afterwards or before, and I'm in communication with the agent just to kind of get an idea of what the sellers are looking for. So I went through it. We decided, hey, we're going to put in an offer. It was, it's a really good thing because my clients, they want a longer settlement because they want to sell their house. They are able to look like a cash buyer because they have equity in their home, so they could say, hey, we have a HELOC that we can basically purchase this home without a mortgage. So we did a cash offer, and we also added in a price escalation. We went above list price, and then we added in that price escalation, and we asked for a home inspection. So again, another trend, home inspection. Both of those offers were over asking, but we did ask for a home inspection. So this was a 5-year-old home. I wasn't too worried about the home inspection. Nothing came back. That was an issue. Oh, it did get accepted, which is great news. And we found out that they, like I said, they wanted a 60-day close because they didn't know what they were going to be doing. That was music to my clients' ears because now they can work on because the transition between one home and the next, selling a home and buying another home is really difficult. And in some cases, when you're submitting an offer that has a contingency like a sale and settlement contingency, meaning that the home is on the market, it's under contract, just waiting to be settled, or a settlement contingency, meaning we have not put this home under contract. We might not even have the home listed, but we're putting an offer in on a home that we would like to buy, but it's contingent on the sale of the previous home. So we didn't have to do that, which is what made it really good. Another part about we did not escalate. So the other two offers that came in were below our or right at our initial offering price. So save some money for the clients there. We were willing to do more, but luckily we did not have to escalate. So I'm going to be getting, we'll flip to this one. So right now we're prepping for this new listing in the Warrington area. It's a single family home, great backyard, different things like that. We're talking with the moving company. We're basically turning this home into a product, and that will be going live here shortly in the next couple weeks. And the most important thing for them is going to be timing this up with that property that they are buying. We're going to be basically closing on that home in the morning, taking the proceeds and dumping it into that one. And then they will not need to use that HELOC that they said they were going to use because we got such a long settlement agreement for their buy. And the last home that we had was a client of mine. He wanted to list his investment property. And, we had gotten a couple different quotes for paint, fixing different things up. We got a price that we thought would be good, but we knew it was this area was a buyer's market. Homes are sitting for a little bit. You're seeing price reductions, yada, yada, yada. We knew we would probably have to accept a home inspection, but we just previously bought this home, so we weren't too worried about it. But luckily, before we went to market, we were able to find a neighbor that knew someone who might be interested. And that can be tricky because you always want to make sure that you're getting as much exposure as possible. But at the end of the day, we were able to negotiate a price that worked for the sellers and it was acceptable to the buyers. And we got the quick settlement that we had wanted. The last part that we are currently working through, and this is becoming for townships, a norm, is UNOs coupled with a sewer lateral inspection. And sewer laterals are becoming the norm that every township is requiring. UNOs are very common, but sewer laterals, what they are is basically it's the sewer line that goes from your house to the road. That is what you are responsible for. So they did the sewer lateral and it failed. So that was an issue that the seller needed to fix before settlement occurs, because the township will not issue a UNO before that is fixed, because they want to make sure that the next owner has a good sewer lateral. The problem was, and this is becoming, I guess it's a trend in that township, where the sewer lateral goes from the house to the sidewalk, and then in most cases, that's where your insurance covers, right up to that sidewalk. In this township, they are saying that it goes beyond, your responsibility as a seller goes beyond the sidewalk, which I've never seen before. And most insurance policies do not cover that. So we had to figure out, seller was able to find a contractor who basically could go down into the sidewalk and under the street to make those fixes. And we could process it through insurance so that out-of-pocket costs would not be absorbed by the seller, which is a huge deal. I mean, my gosh, it was between $10,000 and $20,000 that fix. So now they don't have to worry about that. We're going to go to settlement. But yeah, and then there were a couple different transactions previously in the month of January. But overall, if I could just recap this, right? So these offers were all very different that got accepted, and all of them had, well, not all of them, but they all had different things. So we had price escalations that didn't escalate, so less competition, less aggressiveness. This is now February when these deals are taking place. In the spring, that could change, but we got a home inspection and a termite inspection on one, paying transfer taxes. In Philly, we had a termite inspection and reduced commission. We had a property above asking with multiple offers, a longer settlement, and a price escalation clause, and an off-market listing with a home inspection. So what can you kind of take from all of that? Well, one, all of these offers were close to the asking price. They all had some type of contingency, meaning maybe we are shifting toward a market where, in most cases, you can get a home inspection. And there are a lot of buyers out there who just feel like, and this was the one of my clients, he needed to have a home inspection in order to just buy this home, which I completely agree. We're talking about a $500,000 home. $500,000 purchase. It is important that you know what is going on. It's always a risk, and we talk through all the different ways that these offer presentations can go down. My goal, whenever I'm submitting an offer, is we get the offer out right away. I get in contact with the agent right away. We submit our best offer, and then we hope that if it is an offer deadline, the agent comes back to us and says, hey, you were the first one in. Your lender called. We have good rapport. You're almost there. Would you like to make any adjustments? And then you can make those adjustments. Or sometimes if you get the offer in and you've had some good rapport, I have found that in itself will get the offer accepted. So there are a lot of different strategies in real estate right now that are working for me. But I mean, it's just, the market is always changing. These are in Delaware County, Philly, Chester County, and Montgomery County. Oh wait, no, that one's in Bucks. But yeah, it seems like the market might be shifting. So gone are the days for most properties where you're offering $50,000 over asking. We're going to be covering any issues with appraisals. There's going to be no inspections. I mean, I'm pretty confident that is kind of we're shifting away from that. Interest rates right now are between 6 and 7%. Seems like we're going to be in that pool for a while. So maybe the refi will happen in 12 to 24 months or something along that timeline. But this is what we're kind of looking at. So hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what I've been seeing, what has worked, and I think that this should be a positive note for buyers right now. Just knowing that, hey, we're going to be able to probably, maybe we'll have to pay the list price or a little bit more, but maybe we'll get a home inspection. Unlike our friends from 3-4 years ago who were competing with 15 different offers. And as a seller, I mean, you really got to price your home right, because, if you can get as many people through, then maybe you can get some contingencies waived, because the more offers you have, the more kind of ammunition the agent has to negotiate on your behalf and get those terms that you really want. It's really just a conversation. Again, who you work with does matter. And so hopefully I'm rambling now. Hopefully that this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, always reach out. And that is the end of the episode. So thanks.